Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Sagittarius. If Sagittarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so our card tonight is the Magician. Always very welcome energy. Okay, let's see what these tea leaves have to say tonight. And so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. Okay, so the first thing I've noticed, now I've noticed a few things, but the first thing I want to talk about here is we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably a 5 in there, I'm sure, if I look. 5 right there. There you are. But I feel like this is almost kind of like... maybe it goes the other way. I don't know, but it feels like a countdown of sorts. Or, yeah, like kind of a countdown. And I feel like it is. It's kind of like the building up to this grand moment. Doing the work to get it all together, aligning every little piece. And... and then getting to that last point where it's just about to happen. And it feels like this is something that is exciting. This is something that is thrilling. And it's something that, I mean, you've been dreaming about this moment. Now we have at the top here, it looks like a person here and a person here. This person looks like they have a walking stick. This person looks like they have a bag and maybe they're holding something out, like as, to offer it over. And so I feel like there is this sense of kind of meeting somebody on your journey. I feel like you have been praying for, hoping for, dreaming of some kind of partnership, maybe romantic, maybe a friendship. And I think that's really the most important thing, is the friendship here. And the sense of, walking, if you can imagine, you're walking down a path, you've been traveling for days and weeks and months and years, and that road can get very lonely. There's a lot of momentary interactions and maybe people that you have crossed paths with here and there. So there's some familiarity, but there's nothing very solid. And then on this, this certain day, on this certain afternoon, in the perfect place, when all things align, you come across somebody who, just, they speak to you without having to. There's a psychic connection there. There is a heart-to-heart connection. This is somebody that when you speak to them, they listen. And when they speak to you, you listen. You can hear each other. And maybe for the first time in your life, this is a person who is so kindred. They feel instantly like family. And I feel like this is going to be one of the great connections of this life cycle. This will be somebody who is with you until the end. And I feel like a big part of this is that you have really worked so much on yourself. And I think over the years, having friendships, relationships, engagements with people who, maybe you loved them and maybe they were wonderful in a lot of ways, but you were never able to be yourself. You never got to that point, that really deep, deep place. And it's at the end of it all, it's the only thing that really matters, right? Not necessarily that it has to be with another person, but at least with yourself, right? With your interior beloved. And so I feel this is one of the great movements of your being. This is maybe one of the greatest blessings that will ever happen. And I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be somebody in the manifest world, or if this is somebody, an intelligence, or an aspect of self that you are meeting in your individuation process. It doesn't really matter because it all feels the same ultimately, right? So, this is maybe one of the happiest readings. It might not sound like it, but it does feel like one of the happiest readings that I've ever done. This is something that happens to so few people, I believe. Okay. Now I want to look at this figure because it looks like a fertility goddess. Okay. We can see the face right here wearing some kind of hat. Almost reminds me of, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like, I feel like it's almost like a Buddhist monk maybe. But then we have the mammaries here in the middle and wearing some kind of cloak maybe, but also there's a face here. You can see the eye and the nose and the mouth, okay? And it almost kind of looks like taking off the mask, right? And then you see the crone beneath. And there's the unveiling, okay? Now, I look at this and I don't think of this as some kind of nefarious or terrible thing, but I do feel like it is the sense of a deep revealing, right? And I think this is more akin maybe to the shadow work. And I think it would only be the shadow work because of the way that our culture, that our world kind of views the aging process. So we do shy away from the crone, right? And the thing I always think is so funny, about life, I think is, I feel much older than I am, I think, because I've been through a lot. And I always say I'm an old person, and people get very twisted up about that. I'm around 40. So I guess in a lot of ways, maybe not that old. But I feel like it. Okay. I think I've earned my, my cronehood here a little bit early. And I don't think it's a bad thing, by the way. I think it's a great honor, and it has been the dream of my life. But the funny thing about life is you don't realize how long you are considered old, right? Most of your life you will be an aged person if you are lucky. And so I don't understand the torment of becoming old. I think it's such a privilege and such a wonderful time. Every year I check off of my calendar, I feel a little bit less tied to my guilt, my shame, trying to live up to anybody else's expectations. And so I look at this and I think, oh my goodness, this is pretty amazing. It is. It's like taking off that that burden, that thing that I think it's called the yoke around your neck, right? The thing they put around the neck of an ox or a large cow or whatever to pull whatever, the tractor, I don't know what those are called, the thing that digs up the ground. I don't think it's a tiller, but it's kind of like a tiller. But it is, you know, the expectations of the world start to kind of dissipate as you get into your older years. And I think also you just really stop caring so much about what you're supposed to be doing, right? And so we do kind of have, in a way, that full energy, losing the inhibition, or not full, I'm sorry, magician. I always mix this one up in my head because of the face of Mercury there. He looks like the fool in a lot. He's like very serene, very kind of pleased with himself or their self, and so I think, oh, that's the fool. But it is also the energy of the magician, right? The magician is a archetype that to be able to function in their true will, in their true capacity, there is a sense of, maybe not always outside of your own private domain, your own temple, but within that temple, you have to be very much what you are. You have to know yourself in and out. You have to know every, intention, motive, how the things kind of all string together to your self-mythology, your histories, your traumas, your, all of these things. This is part of that shadow work. This is part of the individuation process, getting down below all of the things that we've constructed, all of our conditioning to get to that deeper place. And then you get to there's just that day where you're like, okay, I'm pulling this mask off and I'm apparently opening my cloak like a wild person here. And, and living as I am and not worrying about that. Because why should I? I am what I am. And this is really an image of great freedom in my estimation. I'm a little bit jealous of this. I'm going to take a screenshot of it when I process this to remind myself of it, because it is profound. It is a profound. Okay. Now, TT, what do you think? Let's see, what do we have going on this side? Oh, so we have a cat. Oh, we have a cat with a cat. There's a kitty cat on here. Here you can see the ear, the face, the eye, the mouth, the legs. And it looks like it reminds me of that movie from back in the day. What was it called? The Aristocats? Aristocats. Like some kind of cute and little sassy kitten. And look at this alignment up here too. That's interesting. We have a star, we have a hook, we have a crescent moon, and we have a heart. Star, hook, crescent moon, heart. So we have the cat, and it's a lively cat. It's a little rambunctious kitty cat. And with the cat, it's always symbolic of individuality. Doing things as you please. Really being in the spirit of self. and living as you will. You know, I think that you've always had this within you, but really in this time in your life, it is so apparent. It's a profound quality for you. I think it's something that people admire, and people are very, I don't know, I think that they're intimidated. Okay, I think it almost kind of puts them off, but they're also really drawn to. It's like they stay away because they're intimidated, but they'll be on your Facebook or whatever social media you have, and they'll be like just looking at your stuff secretly, right? They won't give you a friend's request, but they want to know all about you, and they keep tabs on you a little bit, maybe. And I think it's not out of anything nefarious, but I think that deep down, they wish they could be a little bit like you, you know, in your confidence, in your knowing of self, being self-embodied. And so then we look up here, we have, like I said, we have the star, which I will say is is your goals, where you're doing your work, putting your intention. We have the hook. Okay, so you're putting in the work. You've gone fishing for your big catch, right? You're doing the work. Now we have the crescent moon. Okay, so I also think that there is a lot of emotionality here. I think that you put your whole heart into things. Now we have the heart next. And that is, you are somebody who can't help but feel deeply about everything that you do. Anyways, the things that are of importance. Okay, you put all of yourself into it. There's no other way. But I think you have a lot of energy. There seems to be just a ton of energy in this period of time. Feeling young at heart. That is for sure. Okay, so we have a squirrel. And we have a little bird. The squirrel for me tells me you should be saving however you can. If that's money, if that is, you know, saving your energy, keeping it for things that are important. Advocating for yourself, not doing things that you don't want to do. But, you know, from this reading, I don't think you would anyways. But I think kind of saving your resources where you can. Now, we also have the bird. So we do have kind of a visitor here. And I think that you can feel them. It doesn't feel like somebody in the family. It doesn't feel like anybody you're really related to, but it is some kind of entity, intelligence that has taken kind of a liking to you. And so they kind of sit on the perimeter of your life, kind of keeping an eye on you. Okay, so you might feel them outside, you might feel them in the home, and I think that they are there. But I don't think that there's any ill will. I think they're just kind of enamored by you. And this happens sometimes, especially when you are a bright, shining light. You will draw in kind of roving intelligences and entities. So don't be wary of it, but do protect yourself, of course. I would say, keeping... I'm a big believer that if we keep our houses as decluttered as possible, it helps the stagnant energy get out, keeping your windows open when you can, getting fresh air through there, making maybe a talisman or having some kind of, poured like a prayer over your doorways, your windows, maybe planting some beautiful things in your backyard, your garden, around the doorways. And I think another thing that I like to do is keep wind chimes. I don't like the sound of the metal ones so much. but wooden wind chimes seem to bring a sense of energy flowing through. Okay, and that could be very helpful. So we have the Dreamer's deck, 40 affirmations for pursuing your dreams. Are you huffing at me? She wants me to go to bed so much. I know. I'm almost done, I promise you. So I'm going to go ahead and flip through and stop where it feels right. We'll flip it over. It says, I know that each sunrise brings an opportunity to make a different choice. I am evolving. I am evolving. Okay, come over here. Come on. I'll hold you while we say goodnight. Come on. Come on. Over here. Oh, you're just going to play hard to get now? Come on, Mama. Oh, you little silly. Okay, Sagittarius. I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you, and I do, and I do, and I do. And I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it does help the channel so much. And if you have not subscribed, please, she's licking my face. If you have not subscribed, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. And if you, and it is free to subscribe. And if you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I absolutely love reading them. I love engaging with you all, getting to know you. I know sometimes people say, I'm so sorry for how long this comment is. Let me just tell you, I read every word. I appreciate the time. I appreciate the bravery it takes to open up on, a place like this on the internet. I absolutely feel so blessed to be able to connect with people here. And so please don't ever feel like you can't share. Also, please don't feel like you have to either. It's all love, however you decide to do it. And so anyways, let me just tell you, I love you. I love you. I love you. We'll talk in a few days. Please take care of yourself. And yeah, good night. Can you say good night? You want to say good night? Yeah. She says good night. All right. Goodbye.